Grateful is different than pride by Michelle Crow. The world remembers wars by dates and places. Those who live them remember them by moments. One of mine began in November of 1990 when the ship I was stationed on left for the Persian Gulf, though the real story had already begun long before that. Lately, I have found myself thinking about that time again. Not because of an anniversary, not because of a holiday, but because the world has started to feel familiar in a way I cannot quite ignore. There is a certain tone that settles in when people begin talking about war. It shows up in conversations and headlines, in the quiet way people start paying attention. I have heard it before. The world was holding its breath then. News reports talked about troop movements and desert borders. Words like Desert Shield were beginning to appear on televisions and radios. For many people, that moment is remembered as the beginning of a war. For me, it was something else, too. It was a doorway out of a season of my life that I did not know how to survive. People sometimes tell me I should be proud. Stand up, they say. You served your country. Be proud of that. I understand why they say it, but pride has never quite been the word that fits, because before the deployment, there was another story. Months earlier, something happened on base that changed the way I move through the world. Even now, after all these years, I still struggle to say the word for it out loud. Someone I should have been able to trust, someone who wore the same uniform I did, broke something that night. Not just trust, but the quiet belief that we were all looking out for one another. That night, I had left the ship just to run. I had so much pent-up energy in me, the kind you don't know where to put. And I was working towards a fitness goal at the time, and running felt like control, like release, like something that still belonged to me. I left to clear my mind. I came back carrying something I would spend years trying to understand. And even now, all of these years later, I still struggle to go out for an evening walk, let alone run. After that, the ship became my shelter. I stayed on board as much as I could. I tried to disappear inside routines and still walls and long hours. Inside my own mind, things were darker. I made choices during that season that would follow me for years. I tried to outrun the pain in ways that only deepened it. There were nights when the weight of it all felt unbearable. So when word came that we were leaving for the Persian Gulf, something unexpected happened. I welcomed it. War felt easier than the war already happening inside my head. Deployment meant distance from the place where everything had fractured. It meant motion, noise, purpose. It meant I could forget who I was for a little while. So no, pride is not the word that lives there for me. But something else does. Gratitude. Over the years, I have met and served beside people whose courage and character changed my understanding of the world. Men and women who carried burdens heavier than their uniforms ever showed. People who have gave pieces of themselves, quietly, without asking for recognition. Because of them, my story did not stay defined by the worst thing that happened. I learned something slowly over time. The person who hurt me that night was not the military. He was the exception. The men and women I served beside and the veterans I have come to know since showed me something entirely different. Honor, sacrifice, loyalty. That is what I am grateful for. And maybe that is why these memories return when the world starts talking about war again. Because I know now that war is never just something that happens over there. It lives in the people who go. It follows them home. It reshapes them in ways that are not always visible. Every person who leaves carries more than a uniform. They carry their own story. Over time, I've learned something about the word service. It's not just something we did. It is something that continues long after the uniform is folded away. It lives in the way we carry one another's stories, in the way we recognize pain in someone else's eyes without them needing to explain it, in the quiet understanding that some chapters of life never fully close. So no, pride has never been the word that stayed with me, but gratitude has. The world may remember the war. I remember the people who walked through it beside me, and for them, I will always be grateful.